Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Mr. Speaker, what a weekend you've had. Just to get it out of the way, were you watching the game last night?
Yes, I was.
Oh, you were? Okay, you're able to unwind a little bit.
You needed it. You needed it with a cocktail last night, right after your weekend.
Every time Taylor was on, Mr. Speaker, how excited did people in your circle get?
I mean, I think people get excited. I know my daughter gets really excited.
Right.
I will tell you this. My daughter went to her concert, and what's so nice is that people were sharing bracelets. I made bracelets with my daughter before they went. No one's using drugs. People are singing the whole time. People walk out excited. It feels good to be able to do things like that again. And, that's why I'm happy for both of them.
Yeah, right. And they were fully funded. The NFL was fully funded last night. So was everybody else, and so was the government. Thanks to you. How disappointed were you to have to go ahead and call a Plan B or a Plan E, and go to Hakeem Jeffries and get the votes needed to keep the country going?
Well, I didn't want to have to do that. You know, just the day before, we had the most conservative stopgap bill we've ever had, would secure the border, would cut wasteful spending, but the sad part here, as the leader, I had 21 Republicans vote no. Yep. And government was going to shut down. So how do you look our military men and women in the eye and say, you're not going to get paid, or your border agents, you're not going to get paid because we haven't done our job? So I believe we keep government open, and it wasn't Hakeem wanting to have this. They tried to adjourn. They tried everything impossible. It was a gamble.
Yeah, you had several conservative opportunities with Chip Roy and with Byron Donalds. What's happening with Matt Gaetz? Why is he against it? What's happening with the GOP?
Well, don't judge the GOP by Matt Gaetz. Judge us by the enemies we keep. Matt's, it's personal. Matt voted against that conservative stopgap that put us in the problem. And then when I had to keep government open, he now wants to make a motion to vacate. But what's really concerning to me now is the reports I've been hearing all week, and now it's being reported in Breitbart. Matt has been going to Democrats and offering them subpoena power, which will just destroy any Biden impeachment inquiry we have, if they would vote along with him, because he'd have to get all the Democrats to vote with him to be able to remove the speaker. And I just don't think that's good for the House. I don't think it's good for the country. When my point is, bring it on. Let's get over with. Let's get this over, and let's get focused on what the American people want: securing our border, ending the wasteful spending, and actually achieving everything we said we could achieve.
But Mr. Speaker, respectfully, and we appreciate you joining the program. We appreciate you coming to the dining. You made that commitment to America. You have stood in line with that commitment to America. But one of the concessions that was made, personality aside with Matt Gaetz, was the 13 appropriations bill to return to regular order. That still did not happen. Why?
Well, let's be fair here now. You look at the commitment to America, and you check off everything we said we have done. It's not 13, it's 12. Right. And the first thing, we had to go through a debt ceiling, so you didn't get your number till then. And you want to know one of the reasons why we didn't get to all 12? Well, there were a couple weeks Matt got upset and wouldn't let us pass anything on the floor. I need to be able to pass a rule to even bring the bill up. So there were numerous times, which I've been working on this since July, that Matt and a few other friends would say no, just like when he said no to the CR. So you can stop the process, but the Senate has not passed one bill. The House has passed more than 70%. I have stopped any recess. We're going to move on 2 more bills now. We're doing it individually. You know what else happened this year? For the first time in 16 years, the Republicans have now passed the FSOP appropriations off the floor, something that's never been done since I've been in Congress itself.
What's that?
So that's the foreign ops bill, appropriation bills. So we're doing things we've never done, and we're doing them individually exactly as I said we would do it. Sure. So I'm not quite sure why. Did we not meet the deadline because we had to go through the debt ceiling where the president wouldn't talk to us for 97 days? I didn't know that was going to be in the problem. But you know what? We got through that. And what did we get in the debt ceiling? The largest cut in American history, more than $2 trillion. We got work requirements, something the president said that was a red line he would never do. We got reforms to NEPA, something that hasn't happened in 40 years, so we can rebuild. And we also put a provision in there, if you don't do all 12 bills by the end of the year, it's a 1% cut across the board. Right. That actually made the Senate start working for the first time in 8 years. Sure. So we've made drastic changes. I know that's different for people seeing Washington actually work and from the bottom up.
Right. One of the things that's going on against the backdrop of the almost government shutdown is there has been an ethics investigation into Matt Gaetz. And it looks like it could be some sort of determination could be forthcoming shortly. And there was a story out yesterday that said, essentially, if there's any wrongdoing found, some top Republicans want to get rid of him. And the quote was, nobody likes Matt Gaetz. When it comes to, and then you have publicly, Mr. Speaker, said essentially Gaetz is mad at you because you refuse to intervene in the ethics review. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's very accurate. Look, the ethics complaint against Matt happened in the last Congress. Ethics is an equal number of Republicans and Democrats. It would be illegal for me to do anything in that committee.
What did he want you to do?
Well, apparently there's our emails back and forth of Gaetz talking to others, blaming me for the ethics complaint that got registered to him and something when I wasn't even in power. So I don't know what he wants me to do, to think I could take it away or not. I think if he thought he would threaten me,
and this
that
is
somehow
all
I would
about
do
that?
something. But legally, I can't do anything, and I'm not going to do anything.
And so the animosity stems from that?
Oh, I think the animosity stems a long time ago. If you watched even the race for Speaker, look, that's fine if Matt dislikes me. That's okay. My focus, secure the border. We could have had a very big win, but we couldn't get Republicans there. But we did have a win in being able to get government, keeping it open,
right,
making sure that Ukraine was not in it. We got disaster taken care of. Now we've got our 47 days to get this done, to secure the border. We got H.R. 2. What was really positive here, we got the Senate Republicans, the number of Senate Republicans who were texting me, thanking me for what we were able to achieve. They're calling it pulling a rabbit out of the hat one more time after the debt ceiling. They thought it something that could not happen. We'd be sitting here in a shutdown. But now we're going to get together, Republicans in the House and the Senate, on a clear plan for border security and work together. That's the only way we win. That's the way we were able to be successful on the debt ceiling as well.
And look, there's going to be, the Republicans are coming at you, at least Matt Gaetz is, but Byron Donalds is also not happy with you. Listen to what he said.
He is in trouble. Part of that is because there has to be some level of strong leadership in our chamber. I'm just going to be totally blunt. There are a lot of trust issues in my chamber right now where people feel on both sides of our conference that everybody's not going to hold hands and continue to do this work together. That was indicative also of what happened yesterday on the floor, where it took more Democrats to pass this deal to keep the government open. The same thing happened on the debt deal.
So what do you say to Byron Donalds, who is not anti-Kevin McCarthy?
No, I think Byron worked very hard on trying to get that continuing resolution passed. He put a lot of effort in that. I understand that he's frustrated about that. But, you know, the way I put the bill on the floor was on suspension, where it has to have a higher number. If you watch, people say, oh, more Democrats voted for it. You have to have 290 passed to pass the bill. But if you watch, the Democrats first moved to adjournment. They did a magic minute. You had a Democrat pull the fire alarm, trying to make sure we couldn't get on our bill because they wanted Schumer's bill. It was a gamble and a gamble for me to even call that bill up, but it was the best option we had at that moment. I didn't know it would pass. I didn't know if Democrats would vote for it, but I had to stare them down and dare them. You know, sometimes you've got to take a risk for the American public. And if people want to make a motion to vacate because I stood with those men and women in the military and those on the border, that's more than well. Let's have that argument. But I would argue back. If those are the people who want to bring the motion to vacate, why did you vote against the conservative CR?
So what are you going to do by November
push us
15th,
into a
Kevin?
shutdown?
Mr. Speaker, what are you going to do by the 15th? What's going to be different in the next 6 weeks so you're not at this place again?
We've already passed more than 70% of the discretionary spending. We've got 2 more of the probes up now. We're going to finish our work, push the Senate into conference. We've got a short time here. We've got to get border security.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We know you've got to go. Otherwise, somebody's going to pull the fire alarm.
Actually, just one last thing. We have 20 seconds. What are you going to do? Nicole Malliotakis wants Bowman, Congressman Bowman, out. Are you going to support his ouster?
Well, first of all, we're going to go through the investigation. What's really interesting, this is a former principal. He knows what a fire alarm is. This is a man that has gone on and yelled at members, and his behavior has been unbecoming. But what's interesting, if it really was just an accident, when the Capitol Police came to interview you, why would you lawyer up right away?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just say, oh, my gosh, I made a mistake here. Why would you let it go on?
What do you believe
everybody
happened?
knows
What do you
you've been
really
there
think
long
happened?
enough. You know how to get to the Capitol.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
think he knew this was all
Oh,
on purpose?
everybody. If you know this individual, everybody knows. And if you've been a principal, you've had fire alarms and you've had children pull
I
fire
know.
alarms.
It's
so is that
elementary
where you
school
go to the
101.
childish action?
Yeah.
Do you want to see his phone to see if Hakeem Jeffries told him to do it?
I do not believe Hakeem Jeffries would ever say to do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mr.
Thanks,
Speaker,
Mr.
we know you
Speaker.
got to go. You got a lot.
He said if you know one
you
of
got a lot
them,
going
you
on.
know he did it. The other one, I don't think he would tell it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're still open.
All right.
All right.